Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
We're going to be reviewing the DYU FF500 folding e-bike next. All right, so Jesse, this actually folds right here and here. So this is a folding e-bike. And I was actually really impressed that you could get this much bike. So let's just jump into all the features. Now, if you wanted to get this in a different color, I'm sorry to tell you, it only comes in blue. Maybe that's how they kept the price down.
It's a nice blue.
It is a nice blue. It's very nice. All right, so this has a 500 watt rear motor.
And it comes with a 14 amp hour, 48 volt battery.
Yeah, which is really nice that it fits right in the frame. It's really nice how now, so you're probably wondering about the range. It can go 43.5 miles or 70 kilometers.
I doubt that.
Well, yeah, that's probably with a lot of pedaling.
And it can hold 150 kilograms.
Yeah, so times 2.2, so that's over 300 pounds. Now, I kind of looked around. I couldn't find a way to unlock this to go faster, so the top speed appears to be level 2, which is completely legal in the United States, 20 miles an hour or 32 kilometers an hour.
And this is with the 500 watt hub motor. It also has a thumb throttle, so you can exclusively use the thumb throttle as well.
But the thumb throttle is tied to the 3 levels. So if you're in level 1, it'll get you up to the 9 miles an hour, level 2 up to 15 and so forth. That may be what you want. Some people like that. Jesse doesn't like that.
Well, I will say it really depends on what I'm trying to do. If this is just a form of transportation for you and you are going to be riding alone, all by yourself, and you don't have to keep up with someone at a particular speed, I think it's totally fine to have a cadence sensing bike and to have a thumb throttle. It makes mobility in terms of biking so much more accessible than a normal bike.
So let's talk about suspension on this bike. There's kind of 3 modes here, right?
Yes.
There's the front fork, which is pretty good. There is an actual suspension in the seat post, which is really nice actually. And then there's a hidden one, which you cannot see here, but it's kind of like those Reebok sneakers from the 90s.
Yes, you can
pump it up.
Pump it up. And then you can also let out some of the air. So you can determine how firm you want the seat to be, which I think is kind of a neat feature. You can tell that this is like one of those blood pressure cuff pumps.
Sphygmomanometer.
Yes, exactly.
It's a sphygmomanometer.
I'm Hans.
I'm Franz.
And we want to pump you up.
So yeah, if you want to pump it up, you can, and you can just let the air out. But
yeah.
But let's get to the seat. I kind of liked it. It was a lot of nice cushiness for my bottom. You did not.
Well, it's kind of to do with the bike itself. The bike is pretty well designed in that you're going to be a little bit more upright than
Very
you are
upright, actually.
than on like a mountain bike where you're going to be hunched over and putting a lot of force on your arms. Your arms don't have to do much other than steer, but your butt is going to be taking the brunt of most of the weight. And if you're not pedaling, that means that you're not going to be putting most of the weight on your feet, which, you know, bikes were really designed for you to be pedaling because they don't have like chairs on them. And so even though you get this nice cushy seat, you're still going to have pretty much all of your weight sitting right on your butt on this seat, which isn't a chair.
Yeah, I'm just going to push back. I think that the pump-up seat means you can set it to the firmness that you like. It's nice and big,
yeah.
And I think they did a pretty good job. Also, having seat suspension was really nice. So you're actually getting like 3 forms of suspension in the bike. So you don't have, it's a hardtail. You're not getting any rear suspension, but this kind of is your rear suspension.
Yeah, again, I think that you might find that you love this seat, but if you didn't for whatever reason, you can replace it with a relatively inexpensive, huge seat.
Easy to do. I really like that most manufacturers are now going to this easy adjustment. So when you're on your ride, you don't have to take out tools. You can just adjust the seat an extra inch higher or lower and boom, you're off.
Right, and if you wanted to replace the seat, you can actually do it up here and keep that extra level of suspension if you wanted.
Right.
This comes with an LCD screen.
Very standard.
Looks like a calculator. It does have a backlight setting, which you can adjust in the special, you know, digital watch era version of settings on this bike.
Yeah, it tells you all the things you need to know. Your speed, your level assist, so pedal level assist from 1, 2, or 3, or 0 if you want to walk the bike. It also has walk assist, which means you can walk next to the bike but have it actually moving along, which is nice if you're going up a hill or something like that. Odometer and your trip, so how long you've gone. Also, it does tell you your volts and your amps. If you want to do the math in your head, multiply the volts times the amps and you'll get the watts, so you know how much power is coming out of the motor.
Right, so it'll tell you the battery voltage, which is really nice because a lot of battery meters on e-bikes aren't very accurate. They usually show it being 100%, and then you drive for like 5 miles and it's like, still at 100%, we're looking good. Then you hit that 7th mile, the first bar goes, then you go another mile, the next bar goes, and pretty soon you run out of battery. And so it is not it's not relative to the amount of distance.
I didn't find it accurate at all. In fact, on our test ride, it started at 8. So we fully charged the battery, got to our place, took it off the bike rack. We had 8 bars, went for a long bike ride, over 10 miles, came back, had 8 bars. I was just watching the voltage. Basically, it was at 49 volts up or down the whole time. So yeah, not that great.
Well, yeah, battery meters are notoriously bad. It's nice that you can see the actual voltage.
What I would do is take this bike for a long bike ride on your first trip, make sure that it's somewhere where you can get home easily, like by pedaling, and that will tell you what your actual mileage is. So it comes with a rear rack, which is a nice feature. You could take this off if you want. It's just 4 bolts. I don't see why you would, but you could if you want to. It holds a maximum of 25 kilograms.
The bike also comes with a front headlight. You have to install it yourself along with the front fender and the front tire when you get the bike itself. And I think that the light is fine. It's nice to have some visibility while you're out riding, so that cars and pedestrians and even you, maybe at night, can see.
So as we mentioned at the top of the show, this is foldable. Let's demonstrate.
All right. So the first thing is you can fold the handlebars down, and that is kind of roll this thing out of the way. You pull on this lever, and this folds down and out of the way. Now I am getting the handlebar kind of crunching into there. We can make the handlebar smaller as well. This is an adjustable
that's really nice.
height handlebar, so I'll bring that all the way down.
And I want to mention, when he went up and down, because it has a groove in it, it stays in the same position left to right, which is super nice. It's a nice feature. Some don't have that.
Yeah, super nice, super important. Now it is interfering with the front fork here, so it's not like folding a full 190 degrees, but it is reducing that height by quite a bit.
Which is important.
So then the next step you're gonna do is kind of pull on this and flip that out. Now the bike is ready to fold. Usually this is on the ground. I have this actually up about 2 or 3 feet. So if it looks a little funky, that's mainly the reason. So then what you can do is just start to fold it. Yeah, I might need your help. This is obviously gonna be a lot easier on the ground.
Get the pedal out of the way.
Yep, and in fact the pedals
the pedals fold too.
Fold as well. You pull them, which is a very nice feature. You're never gonna mess that up.
You save like 2 or 3 inches that way.
And I'm gonna fold it. And we're gonna just fold this up that way first.
Look at that.
Look at that. So now with it fully folded.
And it has a way to stand it.
Yep, although, is it stable?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is smaller.
And you can take the seat off.
That's true. So now, will this fit in a trunk?
I don't think it'll fit in most trunks. It will fit in most SUVs easily, but I don't think, unless your trunk is like 1979 Cadillac Seville, I don't think it's going in the trunk.
It also weighs a lot at 68 pounds. Now you can reduce that by taking the battery out of it.
Now, it has fat tires. They're 4-inch fat tires, but these are relatively small. They're 20-inch. We've done a bunch of reviews of 26-inch. 20-inch means that, well, it allows you to get it into a car easier, but it means that when you're hitting things like curbs, it may not handle them the way you want them to. I don't know, how did you feel about it?
I think that the fat tire themselves having that width is probably one of the most important things. When you're gonna hit gravel, or you're gonna hit sand, or you're gonna hit any kind of off-roady, non-tarmac kind of business, these tires are gonna handle it pretty well.
Yeah.
When we're talking about bumps and curbs, like you're saying, that's where it can start to get a little bit more worrisome. If you've ever taken like a skateboard, down a hill or something, and you hit a rock, a little rock, those wheels don't have the radius to kind of push the thing under it, and they will kind of skid. 20-inch is, let's face it, really good. Okay, I think that you're gonna be going over most bumps. It's just gonna be those curbs to where, is it trying to roll it under, or is it gonna try and stop the bike?
All right, so we've gotten through the stats, so let's get to our final thoughts and the pros and cons.
So pro for me, I think, would be the overall design and the paint job. I think that the paint, I know you only get one color, but they did a really good job with that color. I think that the color itself is very sophisticated looking. It's not like blue like this. It's more of like it's very fancy blue. And the finish on it is really great. The downside, the con to me, is that a lot of the welds look, not terrible.
I mean, they're quality welds, but you can see them. And I just think a lot of manufacturers should take an extra 10 minutes to buff them out. I think it just gives the overall appearance of the bike a much nicer look.
But it's a budget bike. So from 20 or 30 feet, when you're not seeing those welds, it looks great.
I do love the step-through frame. It's just so much easier to get on and off, and you're not going to hurt anything when you get off quickly.
I think that you are getting some of your money's worth with the folding aspect of the bike. Overall, design-wise, the fact that you have, 3 forms of suspension for yourself and the folding, yeah, I think that for a budget e-bike, you are getting a lot.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, this really got to me a better design. And I also think it came shipped really well. It only took us about half an hour to put together. Many of the things that normally would come off the bike that you had to install yourself, like the bike rack, already came installed. All we had to do was put on the front tire, the front fender, and by the way, the fenders are held on in 2 places, unlike most cheap ones. So they're really well attached. They are plastic, but they're well attached. What else do we have to put on? The seat post and the pedals. So it was a pretty easy assembly. Anyway, let us know your thoughts, your questions, your comments down below in the comments